I'm Dr. Mahua. Today we will be doing the process or the methods by which we can reduce risk. This is something which we have to do. And in reducing risk, the first point which we have to, the first methods or first technique which we discuss is that of diversification. Now, as the terminology diversification itself determines, it is a practice of reducing risk by allocating resources to a variety of activities whose outcomes are not closely related. So these are very important words. Activities are not, and why, first of all, why we are doing it? We are doing it to reduce risk. And how we will be doing? By allocating the resources to the variety of activities. And so we are doing it to reduce risk, first of all, and then we are allocating our resources to the varieties of activities. And the next point is that these activities should not be related to each other. Otherwise, what will happen? Both the outcomes will be together affecting your resource. So that's why we should choose those activities which are not related to each other, and the two are completely diverse. That's why it is called diversification. So you will be taking activities which are not connected to each other, and then you will be devoting your resources to it. Let's take a very simple example which we have also plotted in our board. Simple example: suppose a person wants to get into the job, and see, so he has got two alternatives. See, either he sells AC or he sells a heater. Okay. So now the question is that in the AC is something which will be expected in the hot weather, and heater is something which will be expected in the cold weather. So if he so that's why if he goes only with the selling AC, then his thing is that his expected income will be, if the entire demand, if it is fully demanded, then it will be going to the 30,000, the maximum. But in the cold weather, it is the AC's demand goes to the 12,000. But in the heater, it goes to the 12,000 in the hot weather and 30,000. Now the question is this: if the person, instead of only devoting its time to AC or to the heater, because it is your expected income, it is not your sure income. So what is the alternative which you can have? You can have that you combine the selling of both of this and earn the commission of selling both these two. So then what will happen? Then the amount of risk you have nullified, or you have reduced the amount of risk by diversifying your time in diversifying your resource to this in the selling of both of these two. So in that case, what will happen if we take the expected income of 30,000 and 12,000? It will be 21,000, because 0.5 probability of both of them, 0.5 21 30,000 plus 0.5 12,000, so it comes to the 21,000. So now the question is this: how do we how do we settle down? How do we settle down with this decisions? Now the question is this: if we go only with AC, then if everything is sold, then only we get the 30,000, and if it is totally cold, so then only everything is sold, I get 30,000. But the question is that it's a probability that you will be getting it. Now you want something sure, or you are a risk averter, you want to reduce this risk. So how will you go for it? So with that, you have to find out, and so diversification process is telling that if you go in between the two and you take a little bit of that and a little bit of this, then there is a chance of getting more income, and your expected income will be higher. So for that, we can understand that if 12,000 of 6,000 probability expected income with the of heater, and the expected income of AC 15,000, so sure shot you get 21,000. Your expected income goes if you diversify your activities into this two sources. So this is a simple example in which it has been said that heater and air conditioned sales are giving you better options when you diversify and you go for both. But the question is this: it is not that easy to get and two activity totally which is different and diverse, and totally it's an opposite one. And so it is in application way, it has got relatively some limitations, obviously. But still, it is only an ideal solution which has been discussed as a diversification process. For example, if we say diversification in the present world is also considered to be an ideal solution in the underdeveloped countries to come out from their risky situation, or come up with the poverty trap or with the vicious circle trap. This is considered to be the ideal solution. So then in the diversification, actually the problem is that how much do you diversify? This is your first question. How much means how much you will be giving your resources to any particular activity. So this is something which is very tough to decide, and the biggest thing is that your information matter. Your information should be very correctly given to have. You should have a very exact information on this, all this process, all these alternative activities which you propose to have and propose to diversify. But in the present age, it is highly been recommended by for the developing countries to settle down their economy with the diversification, with the more and more diversification, with the more and more opening up. With this, just to refer, in India, we have got a crop livestock integration, that is also a diversification model, in which the crop, a farmer produce a crop also, and the residue of the crop is being used as a fodder for the livestock, and the livestock's waste materials are used as a manure for the in the fields. And so this way we can diversify, and so the income which is being generated from the one, or the risk, suppose in any time there comes a flood, or there is any mishappening, or the monsoon is very heavy, because agriculture is totally, still now we can consider that it is a weather, God still works a role. So to reduce this risk, diversification, that is, you depend on livestock, or you go with your some other self-employment, or with some other thing. So this kind of the way the diversification is considered to be a risk solution, risk reduction solution. That's all. Today we'll discuss the diversification. The rest we'll discuss later.